I'm going to get right to the reading. Faith is mental law. The truth is that the physical world has accustomed us to the wrong use of faith. In material things, our faith habitually follows demonstration, while in spiritual or mental things, faith must always precede, meaning go before demonstration. The constant analogy that we draw between things physical and things mental causes us to believe that mental law must parallel physical law, and we omit to notice the great difference. Physical law does not need our faith to be operative, meaning for it to apply. Mental law follows our faith exactly, indeed, is faith. Thus, the difficulty in perceiving the great world of mind and spirit in which we dwell. It is sometimes, it sometimes sounds extremely childish to say to a person who is going through changes with problems and issues that they may overcome them all by simply having faith. The reason for this is that the person who is in such a position is acutely aware of physical circumstance and has denied the reality of the realm of mind and spirit. Knowing the physical so well, he has denied his true being and has lost his faith. It becomes almost where you have an individual who is, how can I say, the word that's used here is Pollyannish, but most people may not know exactly what that means. But that means someone who just takes things willy-nilly, assumes that things are a certain way and they're not, and they have to confront certain issues that they don't like to confront. Therefore, this person may insist that a person use faith under such circumstances, for faith is knowing, and at the moment he cannot know. Only by communion with the indwelling self, the quiet, assured place, and the recesses of his being will he come into the possession of true knowledge and thus complete faith. So that's what I'm seeking. True knowledge, therefore to create and therefore allow within my own life complete faith. So it is that one man can never insist with success that another man have faith, nor can any man insist that he cannot have faith, or said it differently, a different way. So it is that one man can never insist with success that another man have faith, nor can any man insist that he himself have faith when he is beset by doubt and fear. Faith only comes through knowledge, and the precepts that are contained in this information, plus your daily meditations and communions with the indwelling I, will bring this knowledge home with full force and achieve for you a faith that will turn life into a glorious adventure. So let's review up to this point the information that I have shared. All things are rooted in faith, which is the single most important tool of man's existence. And I can honestly tell you as a sidebar, I have not had a great deal of faith, especially when I think back to when I was like about 2 or 3 years old, maybe 4 years old. Never really had a chance to build those small successes, because I do know that success builds upon success. So for this to happen for me, even if I just deal with a small group of individuals to teach what it is that I know, because I know that that's part of my purpose, that I can use my own life examples about what is real and what is not in terms of where you want to go in your life. Up to this point, I have been shown that there's nothing that you can't do, and that with God on your side, all things that at one time would have been considered an impossibility are possible. In fact, they're doable when you know. And I'm in an ideal set of circumstances for me to recognize and understand how I have to build this faith every day, and to truly understand that my tomorrow is a result of what I do today. The subconscious mind turns every conviction of the conscious mind into physical reality. The subconscious mind knows specific time and place, circumstance only through the convictions forwarded to it by the conscious mind. Whatever the subconscious mind knows, the subconscious mind creates. Thought plus faith creates. Thought plus faith creates. Thought plus faith creates. Faith in negative things is delusion, but nevertheless moves the subconscious mind to create them in physical actuality. Negative faith or delusion is caused by man isolating himself from the universal subconscious mind and making fear and resentment and hate his companions through his sense of separateness. So I spent a lot of my time as a young man in an area called Mount Holly, New Jersey. And during that time, that was slightly after the Civil Rights era, and it was during the Black Panther era, and just before the Crips and the Bloods was created in California. And so I grew up with two major dominant thoughts in my head: fight the police and racism. And so I never had a chance to learn how to respond instead of reacting. And so I would react quite often and wouldn't really understand what I was doing as a young man, and being confused in what I saw in my own home. And so the majority of my life has been one of confusion, one of lack of understanding. I remember as a little boy, I had two associates, Robert and Patrick. Robert was a little bit older than I was. Patrick was from Panama. Patrick's father was a captain in the U.S. Army. And I interacted with them, but I noticed up to now that my friendship was not, how can I say, mutual. They were my friends because they would allow me to be in their presence. And so I had to learn how to develop self-respect. And if someone did not treat you the way that you wanted to be treated, then you had to move by yourself, and then recognizing at this advanced age that you're never by yourself when you admit to yourself that God was always in your life and that he was always present. So my attitude right now is to change and to rise above what is my exterior: a black man, an African American or more in the United States, and understand that a lot of the petty thoughts that I've had, issues, lack of confronting what I needed to confront, that things were going to have to change, but they would only change based on what I do. And it didn't matter if someone else didn't see my viewpoint. What mattered is that I had to work on me. And when I felt that I was alone and separate, I had to remind myself that God has always been here, and that when I call upon him, he's right there. I also had to learn that it wasn't my will, it's God's will. And so that's where I'm currently at right now. Faith is attained through complete trust and confidence in the power of the universal mind. So the universal mind would be synonymous with God. The unity of all things and all people indwelling in the immortal self of the universe is the essence of faith. He whose faith facilitates with the events of his life, allows himself to become a victim of every wind that blows and every twig that falls, and is never his own master. So that's what I'm seeking. How to become my own master, how to stay focused, how to have a great attitude, how to remain in the moment and in the second in terms of just feeling good, feeling positive, keeping my attitude in the positive no matter what someone else thinks or whatever someone else says or whatever negative energy is sent my way. How to deal with that, how to transmute negative into the positive. Faith is sustained effort. Faith is persistence. Faith is knowing, while hope is little more than wishing. Don't fall into the trap of hoping for things. It will avail you nothing. Positive thinking is the cornerstone of faith. Refuse to add negative thoughts and circumstance unto yourself. Choose only the good and the great and the beautiful. The rest is delusion. The mind may be trained in the habit of positive thinking through a training period called the 30-day mental diet. The mind may be trained in the habit of positive thinking through a training period called a 30-day mental diet. The inner self does not make up thoughts. It only observes and chooses. Your life today is a result of the thoughts you've chosen to accept. Turn your problems over to the universal subconscious mind. You will find the answers and be guided in the right paths. Don't, under any circumstances, tell the subconscious mind how to do things. Let go and let God. That's where the trust kicks in. That's another reason why I'm doing these videos. Trust. Faith. When negative circumstances arise, know that it is but temporary. A necessary route to the goal you inevitably will achieve as long as your faith remains with you. Daily seek the consciousness of the indwelling spectator, the place of calm and unruffled quiet where all things are known and understood. Seek to know, subordinate all things to faith, for faith must precede all demonstration. The road ahead. You now have arrived at the crossroads of understanding. There is much to do. There is first the 30-day mental diet, which you must perform faithfully and assiduously, and you must be carried to successful completion no matter how many false starts you may make. There is second the breathing exercises and period of communion with the indwelling self, in which you seek contact with the eternal I, your true being. And of course, there are the meditations which you must perform daily, directly after the breathing exercises and communion. Once again, it is cautioned that failure to carry out the work will lose for you the greatest value that can be gained from your study, demonstration of good in your life. Only through such demonstration will the full knowledge come to you of your own self-mastery. Without this, you are simply performing mental exercises. Knowledge without faith is like a ship without a sea. It may be beautiful to behold, but it does very little good. Do the work. Do the work. Do the work. Perform the meditations. Keep the faith. And if you do have someone that you may talk to about this and they don't understand, don't worry about that. Focus on what you're supposed to be doing. Then when people see you change and certain things happen in your life, then they'll come to you asking you what you did. And this is the most important thing that's important. Don't deny them. Don't tit for tat. Like, okay, well, you didn't believe me, so why should I share this with you now? No, give it to them. Because that's all part of your training. To take you to the next level in what they call adaptship. Adapt. A-D-E-P-T. Look it up. A-D-E-P-T. Adapt. What does it mean? Recommended reading. Power Through Constructive Reading by Emmett Fox. Power Through Constructive Thinking by Emmett Fox. Power Through Constructive Thinking by Emmett Fox. 6. Meditation. Here in solitude, in this time of peace, of meditation, I withdraw deep into the silent recesses of my being to a place of utter calm. Slowly the world retreats from around me until finally I am alone. Walled away from all clamor and strife, there is nothing but me. I am not body. I am not thought. I am not experience. I am not the past, nor the present, nor the future. I simply am. Across my consciousness comes a constant procession of thoughts, and I observe them. I do not make up these thoughts. I know they come from the universal subconscious mind, and I watch as they are presented to me. I slow the train of thoughts. I examine each of them, then I let go, neither accepting nor rejecting. On and on the thoughts come, and I ask myself, who is it that observes this? And I hear the answer. Thou that art, always have been, always will, thou observest. And I understand. Divorced from body, thought, and experience, I still exist, as I always must. Here then is my true self, a thing independent of all but spirit, a contemplative eye which only observes and chooses from the thoughts that cross consciousness. Whenever I choose is mine. Whatever I choose is mine. Whatever I choose is mine. Whatever I reject shall never touch me. Whatever I reject shall never touch me. I need only observe and accept, and all things will be added unto me by a power which leaps to acknowledge my faith and my decision. I sense such warmth and security as might overflow the world. I sense a fusion of my being with the great universal subconscious mind, the mind of God. I sense the presence of the Father, who knoweth no wrath, who does all things at his child's bidding. I sense my union with this Father by immutable and irrevocable bonds. I am one with all truth, all beauty, all justice, all love. I am one with all truth, all beauty, all justice, all love.